beautiful story with a happy ending. We'll tear down the empire from the inside out.
Whoever controls the drug business controls the streets.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 6 of the Penguin coverage, talking about Gold Summit. How's everybody feel? How's the panel doing? Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Case of Monday.
Hello.
It's Monday.
Guys,
Doing well.
that's good. That's good. It's only like what, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock sometimes, 4 o'clock.
6 o'clock for me in Kansas. Me and Goodwin. 6
Same.
o'clock.
The
6
night is
here.
young still.
The night is young.
It's only 4 o'clock here, but I get it. You guys, we're all getting old. Weather's changing. Let's daylight. We all sound so enthusiastic. All right. Shall we get into it? All right. We're going to talk Penguin Golden Summit. What is everybody's initial thoughts of the episode? Anybody can go. It's okay.
I'll say it was a step down from the last 2 episodes, but I think it's definitely building up something great for the penultimate episode next week. So I think, we've been on a bit of a ride, for the first 5 episodes. Episode 6 here was a little bit of a breather, kind of just, to kind of let things build up. But the last 2 episodes are probably going to have a lot of, significant things happen for our major characters and the plot points, between the families and Oz's new business. So, I'm okay with it too. I'm okay with it not being like super out of this world or like comparable to the last episode. I still enjoyed it. I don't think it was bad by any means. I think this episode might have been the weakest of them all, or maybe like I think episode 2 was also probably one that wasn't fantastic either, but was still pretty great in its own meanings. But I'd say this episode is still far better than other recent shows in different IPs. Best episode. So I won't name them, but I'm sure we all know of probably at least 3 of them.
Well, it's only a 2-hour stream. You couldn't name them all.
Touche.
Yeah, this one is. It's definitely a kind of a pause, breathe a bit, let things get. But there's still things moving into place, and everything's being set up now. Right, this is the maneuver phase before shots start firing out again, and it really hits it. And I don't think this is the weakest of the series, but it's probably the second weakest. But there's still some, quite a bit of interesting thing going on.
Yeah, I agree with Goodwin. It's definitely, this episode's a slow burn, and I agree with the setup. Like, both sides are setting their plans into play, and I think you need that exposition because I think these final 2 episodes are going to be balls to the wall, and I'm okay with having a slow episode to allow 2 episodes to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
I can agree. I think more so this episode focuses a little bit more on Victor's side of the story and getting him where we're going to see the last 2 episodes are. But yeah, I to me personally, it's the weakest. It's still a good episode. I think the time jump is a little weird, but I can but almost executed perfectly.
Agreed.
Like, I can't think of another show that has done such a well off of time jumping, but still keeping you in the story. So let me get that shared over and we can start. I forgot, how long has it been since it's been a couple weeks, right? In between the last episode, or a couple months between the last episode and this one. Oz has built his Bliss Empire underground. Sophia is unable to catch where he is or find out where he is. They're still hunting for him. And business is booming. We saw him go from 2 buckets of mushrooms to like 6 or 7 of them. So I I like it, but again, I still think it's one of the weaker episodes out of all of them.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things here is we get way more of a focus on the supporting characters, but I do think the intention of that is to build a how safe are they? And look, you can't just even starting off here with what we're seeing with Oz's I guess scheme, his mission. You can't. While I agree with you, the jump was done really well. I'm glad we didn't get more exposition into how we got to this point, and we just jumped in. It was very quick, brief. Like, this is what's going on. This is how it's happened. This is what we're doing. And if we didn't at least get that, I think we would have been like, okay, what the hell's going on? So I think it was a necessary evil, a necessary setback. But I'll take it. It helped us to the point where we could move forward faster.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agreed.
Anyone else's thoughts on the time jump? We're all cool with the time
I
jump?
was fine with it. Yeah.
I'm never.
I don't think I want to see them build it out and look, it's a
Yeah.
construction episode or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't go too far, or if it's not too jarring against the plot, I mean, I think time jumps are important, because if you don't have them, you can't watch every single episode in real time.
Yeah.
So I mean, if as long as you've been paying attention to the overall plot, then it's actually beneficial, more often than it's not. So I didn't have any kind of issue with it. I think I heard it said, and I don't know if this is true or not, so don't take my word for it, but I've heard it said that this is going to be the time is going to be leading into a kind of the next Batman movie will kind of take place around Christmas. But I that's not confirmed. I don't know if that's true or not. So that may be.
I think they did confirm it, that this is supposed to lead into the winter, which would be the second Batman. This is the bridge in between the two.
Yep.
Okay, well, there you go then. So yeah,
I also like. Oh, go ahead.
I like it also just because it services the plot in the fact that if everybody's out of power, well, specifically the poor people in the town, if people are out of power and they don't have services, winter is like the worst time for that. If you have a sort of temperate climate, it's okay to be. I mean, it's never great to be okay there to not have power, but when you don't have it, it makes things all the more worse. You don't have any heat, can't go out, there's nothing to do, all that kind of stuff. So it makes a lot more sense to give them a kind of ticking time clock type thing, which will lend itself to the rest of the stuff that has to do with why he's the machinations that Penguin's doing, like why he's doing what he's doing. So
Agreed. I also like the fact that in this episode, the writers does such a good job of making you empathize with Oz. Like this episode, he's the man's people, right? He wants to make sure there's electricity, obviously because his mom lives in that area. But in the zoo, he's like handing these guys money. They all seem to love to work for him. But at the end of the day, he's a cold-blooded killer. I mean, the last episode, he killed Nadia and her son by burning them alive.
Yeah.
So the writers do such a good job of balancing it, in my opinion, his character.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that's heartfelt. I think like if you study like CIA and how they go about doing things, a lot of people think that they will manipulate their way into things, and they're like, no. Manipulation is one of our last tactics. Before we do anything, we push for motivation. And I think the fact that Oz was the underling for so long, he knows the small things that piss you off when you're low level, because you're quote unquote not seeing big picture. So for him, he can find those things that he knew used to piss him off or used to like rub him the wrong way, and he can just meet it head on and be like, I'm not gonna treat you like this, while we know he has no intention of actually letting these guys rise up, because that's what he's holding on to. But yeah, I mean, he's getting what they want right now to get them to do it exactly what he needs. So
I think that it speaks more to Oz's internal belief about himself, because in the first episode he talks about the guy that used to drive around and like give people the gangster that would give people money, and then that he had a big funeral, the whole neighborhood had a funeral for him, and that idea of being loved, and Alberto just laughs at him, and that's one of the things that kind of leads it to it. But I think Oz has the belief that he's he wants to be that thing. I don't know that he's capable, and certainly not his actions match up. But that's kind of the story he tells himself.
I
Yeah.
couldn't have said that any better. I think that's. I don't know how much he wants to be it as much as he wants to think. He wants people to think that he is that thing. So I think that whole hero worship of the older gangster guy that may or may not be his dad. I think that's what he tells himself to kind of get away with. But then we see that other side of him, don't we? With the things that he actually does, the way he betrays so quickly, and the way he becomes a hypocrite with the things he does. So yeah, I mean, I think he definitely. I agree with Goodwin. I think he wants to be seen as this, magnanimous, altruistic kind of, godfather of the people, a man of the people, like you called it, Nadia. But I don't think he's really even capable of that. Like if it came down to it.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's capable. If at the end of the day, Oz is looking out for Oz. Like, he's not looking out for anybody else. Maybe his mom. That's about it. Hi, Gooch.
Maybe.
Welcome.
Gooch.
Boy, Gooch.
We keep talking about Rex. That's the crime boss that was big that he keeps praising, and he's been brought up more than once in every single episode, and I'm really curious to see. So I don't think they're setting him up to be his father, but maybe they are, because Goodwin mentioned it. But in the comics, Rex is actually Catwoman's father. He's actually Selena Kyle's father. So I keep waiting for this, but they're twisting just enough to kind of keep you on your toes if you follow comics.
Okay.
Little
Interesting.
swaps.
I did not, because that makes sense with them mentioning in this episode. Sophia's like, I never heard anything about his father at all. Interesting. Now you got me thinking. Gooch has me thinking Victor is some kind of serial killer in the comics. You have me thinking that this guy could
Victor
be
Zsasz.
Victor Zsasz. Yes.
Victor Zsasz.
I do like the relationship between Victor and Oz in this episode, because hold on, let me find it. Talk while I find this, because somebody mirrored it really well with The Sopranos. Gooch, how are you? What did you think of this episode? We'll start there.
That was smooth.
I know.
I'm good. This episode, it was really, really good. The acting is always greatness. There's a couple things I'm just like, oh, I hope they don't go down this route. Like, it's just like, this could be bad. But other than that, there's things in there that they're grabbing. Like, obviously the ending, we see something, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Where are we going with this? Are they taking what we know from the comics and from the animated movie and putting it into Sophia with Victor? Because I don't want to give anything away, because we'll get there at some point. But it's interesting what they're doing with some of the storylines that we see in the comics into the series. So
Agreed.
I can't find it. Anyway, it was mirroring Tony and what is his nephew's name?
Chris.
Mr. Soprano.
Chris?
Huh? Chris's relationship with Victor and Oz here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hopefully for Vic's sake, it turns out a little bit better for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Spoiler
Chris-
alert.
Think
Chris
it
and
will,
Victor are very, very different people.
I think
That's
so.
true.
I think so. I spoke
Especially
about
now.
this a little bit on North English Bastard stream when we did this last week. I think that early on when Victor showed up, I wasn't super thrilled. I was like, man, he better start doing something different, like really fast. But I've really enjoyed his character arc, especially in this episode. So I really have a bad feeling about how it's going to end. I don't see him. I mean, when we talk more about predictions, I'll tell you why. But I just don't see him making it to the end of this season. But I could be wrong. I really have no idea. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I don't think you should make any long-term plans.
Really? Victor, not at all? Wow.
I get that vibe. I get it because Penguin Oz has showed himself to be so duplicitous. I mean, in one, hey, you give yourself a chance to trust me. Then 10 seconds later, oh, let her get killed by the Maronis. It's just like, So I just don't see a situation in which it's going to turn out well for Vic. But I mean, I could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no early screening rights to the show, so I don't know. I could be completely wrong.
I think in that situation though, with especially with Sophia when he left her with the Maronis, that was a situation that would have helped him in the long run if they killed her. That he could have benefited off of that. So I think that was a smart move on his behalf. At first, you're like, "Oh shit, he's got to go back and get her." But then when you think about it, it would have been a smart move long term for him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I mean, prediction wise, obviously, like you said, toxic. Like it's hard to predict, especially with this show, because this show has done a great job in changing things here and there, so it's not super in line with comics. Even though there are things that we could probably have a good guess as to what may or may not be true. But personally, I think Vic will make it till the end. I don't think Oz's mother will. But again, could be wrong. I don't know how they want to write Vic's character in sort of his loyalty, right? Like he has been pretty loyal to Oz, and I don't know if he would be willing, or I don't know if it would make sense for them to write his character to switch loyalties just because he faces death from Sophia, right? I mean, she may give him an opportunity to spill his guts, and in turn, she'll spare his life. Maybe offer him a position that in her family. Maybe not though, right? Like we don't entirely know, Sophia's frame of mind. Although she obviously wants to kill Oz and take back, her business from the mushrooms. But I would feel bad for Oz, kind of in a way, if he lost both his mother and Vic, because at that point, he has no one literally in his life that he could probably share some sort of like family sentiment with.
If I had to bet, I would say that Oz is the one that kills Victor.
That's what I think.
That's where I'm going to.
Ooh.
Interesting.
But yeah,
At sunset or
betrayal
sunrise.
I think it'll come to a situation where he'll ask too much, or the life will ask too much of Victor that he is not. And I mean, yeah, Victor's certainly in any other movie or TV show, Victor might be the bad guy, but in this, he is really. I mean, he's kind of the conscience, really, if we're being honest. As in this really messed up world, he's one of the ones that's still holding on to a little bit of that. Now, obviously, he lost some more of it this episode, and we can get to that. But I think it's going to come down to the life is going to ask too much of Vic that he's not willing to perform or give up or do. And I think that it's gonna come at his conscience, going to come at the cost of his life. That's how I see it. And yes, I agree with Goodwin. I think it's going to be Oz that does it. And again, who knows though? I really don't know.
Yeah, but counter that, what does Vic have left, really? Honestly, his family's gone. His girlfriend left. He doesn't have any friends. So like the life is Oz, and the life is all he has. So I don't see a reason why he would turn away from any especially after this episode, anything asked of him to do anything for this life.
Can I give my little theory of what's going to happen with Victor?
Absolutely.
no.
Yes,
No, I'm kidding.
go ahead.
Well,
Yes.
in the first episode, we saw Victor trying to steal a car, just like Jason Todd in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
Oz has taken him under his wing, like Batman did with Jason Todd. I think with especially the ending of this episode with the crowbar, I think we're going to see Sophia become more of the Joker, and we're going to see Victor become more of the Jason Todd character, but come back as Victor Zsasz with the PTSD. I think that's the mix they're going to do with these characters.
Gooch, I hope this guy is Victor Zsasz just for you. I pray every night that he turns into it. Just for you.
I think that's the change they're doing with this series, because Oz is the Bruce Wayne of this series. Like, he is taking a young individual, showing him the ropes in the underworld, right? And then we're going to see, obviously the ending. Sorry, I jumped to the ending, but we see Sophia with the crowbar, and I think that's where we see that kind of that parallel to the Jason Todd, Bruce Wayne stuff, and then they're going to say he's dead, but he comes back, and his mind is completely fractured, and he becomes, because you already saw it in this episode where he kills what's his name there with the gun, like
Squid.
like the PTSD, the mind started to fracture a little bit. He started like freaking out, and even what he was saying, it was vibes of Zaz. So that's the way I would think that they're going with it, but I could be totally way off.
I'll be honest. I don't see Victor Zaz coming through at all.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Shut up, Josh.
Who is Jason Todd?
He's the
Robin.
second Robin.
Red
Okay.
Hood.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the one thing that you said, he doesn't have anything left to lose, his humanity. That's why
Yes.
he can't survive in this world as he is now. Gooch might be right that through extreme torture, he has some sort of mental break and loses that humanity, which would allow him to survive. But yeah, unless there's a hell of a switch up in the next 2 episodes, I just don't think that. I mean, his humanity is going to cause Oz to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like
I'll
V
pull
for
out.
Vendetta, he's got that one last bit, that one last inch, and he's going to decide that he's not going to give it up. He's not going to sell it cheaply, and that's going to be the cost of his life.
Well, we go from Oz and Vic in the beginning of this to Sophia midway with an awful haircut. The only reason I have this still up is that, man, this guy looks like my dad. Colin Farrell dressed up as a penguin looks exactly like my dad. So every time I see it, I have to stop. But hold on. Because there's sexy stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on
You could play that. I'm okay with that.
I was busy at the time, so I couldn't fit in that scene. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I think YouTube will be okay with that.
Yeah.
Doesn't really show.
There have been
Oh.
worse things on YouTube.
Oh, tie me up, Sophia.
It's that awful.
Is that
haircut,
her
though.
blood or my blood? Or I mean, his blood? Sorry, not my blood.
yeah.
It's his. He has wounds on his chest, and she asked if he was injured or something.
This dynamic is so interesting to me, but yet
It
at
is.
the same time, I'm kind of disgusted by it a little bit. So, no offense. Like the actors are great, the chemistry's great, but I think I'm more disgusted because what is going on here? Like what I want to know more about their relationship in Arkham. I think that would help me loop in.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
She's taking. No, you're good. She's taking back her power. She can't get to the other doctors and the other people that have done her wrong, who she's already eliminated. So in this way, and because he's submissive to it, she can be dominant to him, and he was in a position of power over her for so many years, on her side, having a big old crush on her regardless, but still he was in that position of power, and this is like her kind of twisted therapy, like taking it out on him.
Who has the theory that he's Calendar Man?
Me.
Calendar Man.
It did kind of seem more like that. The fact that months later, and this weird dynamic, like he's taking this weird pleasure from her, right? In like a masochistic way.
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird?
Well, no. I mean, I don't think a lot of us would really care to be in his shoes.
He does suggest that he's also, at least hints at the idea that he can also torture, because he tells her, like, if you catch him, let me know if you need my services.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, well, depending on what happens in the next episode, based on how this episode ends, I think he's going to have a role in potentially some sort of, I don't know, like torturistic way, I guess. Like, I could be wrong, but I we haven't seen his services yet. So I think in one of these last 2 episodes, we will. It's sort of like what capacity and with who, because we've just seen him follow orders from another doctor, in Arkham, and there's obviously things that we haven't seen from their dynamic either, which I don't know, maybe we could see another little flashback. I thought that's what we were going to get in this episode, but we didn't. We just got this weird scene in the room.
Yeah, and it could match up with Gooch's prediction, because if you
Yeah.
got someone who is, they're specialists of psychology and torture, then Vic could very easily be.
And that's what could I don't know, maybe send his mind into craze and go all zazzy.
Yep. Maybe, but I think Dr. Rush is going to wind up torturing Eve. I think that's something that might happen.
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think we're going to see Eve again.
No? Is she run all her gamut of episodes? Is she done?
I think the interaction between her and Sophia was capped. I don't see her coming into play, because I think she would have kidnapped her.
I do. Nadia, she's information for Sophia. That's why she didn't pop her off. She is someone she can use.
Yeah, but she freely is giving the information. I don't think she would
Exactly.
have to be tortured for it, though.
Here's a question for everyone, actually. Do you think Oz will be smart enough to realize that it could have been her that will give, the information, or that gave the information to Sophia? And
He might have.
doing together, and then if he gets out or gets back to Eve, that he'll be the one that kills her.
I see that because he could be taking out his rage of what happens to his mother.
Exactly.
Like, so upset with whatever Sophia does with his mother, because I honestly think Mom's gone in the opening of the next episode. I don't think there's going to be any torment.
Because wasn't it in episode 5 when they were in her room and he wanted to tell her that there was someone else, or there was something or someone that he wanted to tell her about, but he couldn't tell her about his mother? I could be wrong about that, but I thought there was a moment when they're like in the other room.
I think that tracks. Yeah, I think that tracks. And by the way, unless IMDb is wrong, yeah, you called it, Nadia, because this is her last episode.
Unless IMDb is slow to update things. But
I'm usually right.
Yeah, it could be right.
Actually, no, I'm always right. You guys are just sometimes wrong.
There's still the movie. There's still the movie. Like I believe that Victor's, you're going to see what you think is the end of Victor, but he's going to be back for the movie as a different character. And I think you're going to see that with Julian as well. I think this is all leading into Batman 2, or the Batman 2.
Okay.
And this is where this is where the Penguin starts to use everyone as chess pieces and starts to create this big war that Batman has to, figure out.
Yeah, but I don't think Eve's coming back. I think that's what I'm saying.
She's not listed to be, but I don't know how good IMDb is. I mean, back in the day, I would have said they had all the information, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's not updated, and they don't update it until after the episode. I'm not sure.
What did we think of Clancy Brown's relationship, Mahoney here relationship with Sophia? Obviously, taking place of the father that she wished she had, I think, or thought she had. To be honest, I kind of liked this little interaction here because it cemented the fact that we are months ahead and that these two have grown some sort of relationship, and it doesn't make it awkward that they're in the house together, in my opinion. But
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Josh.
Dude.
No, I'm going to say I'm fine with it. I think it's just another aspect of what the show does so well is it kind of takes these characters where you could easily make them two-dimensional and stereotypical, and it tries to find the way to shift it. They've had lines like just one-off kind of throwaway lines to kind of imply that Maroney was the more of the sentimental ones of he and his wife. So you kind of get to see that here. He's the one that cooks. Like you get elements of that, but it kind of paints this tapestry of who he is as an individual, not just as a mob boss. And I'll take it. But what I really like is not so much the fatherly figure, but the mentor aspect of like, let me catch you up to speed, kid. Because I mean, this is your thing now. Like you've taken over as far as he's concerned. But you don't have the experience, and I do.
And his wife had such a beautiful name, man. Such a beautiful name.
I love that woman and everything I see her in. I don't know what his name is. House of Sand and Fog.
Oh yeah, and I like Clancy Brown. In one of my favorite series, Carnival. Yeah, so good.
Oh.
Pet Cemetery too.
I like the little interaction that they had, but more how it was written. I like the they do that thing, and there's a name for it in the business, and I wish I'm sorry I don't know the term for it, but where they make the verisimilitude. I might be mispronouncing that. In the fact that he goes to grab plates or bowls, and she's like, "No, don't use those. Use these ones." And there's no other meaning besides it's like when. I don't know if you guys are fans of Robert Redford. When he acts, he will do a thing where he interrupts himself. He'll be doing a line of dialogue, and then he'll be like, "You know what? Wait. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna." And then he does that, and it makes it seem real, almost like you're watching something you're not supposed to be watching. Like we're in the room, interacting with them. Like because she, there was no like real significance to the dining ware that they were utilizing, except just for the fact that she just wanted to be as nice to him as possible and have that post nut meal with him, and just sit down and talk with her father figure.
I don't know if it has anything to do with being nice as much as it is the theme or representation of no, we're using the fine china because that's what we deserve.
I like that too. I like that too, though. But it's still even if that's the case, and I think you might be wrong to something there, it still works the same way. It still
agreed.
Blends the
100%.
same.
It's also with the wine too, right? Like it's an expensive bottle. I wish they would have said which one, but that's neither here nor there. But like the fact that she's like, "Oh wow, you open this," and he's like, "It was collecting dust, just like your father." And it was. I honestly loved that line just because it was a blow to her father, but it's also like your father was never an actual father nor a good one at that. And why waste good wine? Like live in the moment, right? Like you're the head of the house now. You should be enjoying these things, like you said. Like save the fine china for us because we're the leaders of our respective families. We're breaking bread together. I mean, I think she was definitely enjoying that meal for sure. It damn sounded like it was really tasty. So, but Italian food's the best. So it's kind of hard to compete with that.
Did you also notice how she has kind of given up all the airs as we get farther along in the series? Like she does the things, she's dressing differently, and in the way that she dresses and moves, she shows off her scars proudly. She doesn't hide them. She's not trying to, cover up whatever it is that people think about her. I mean, she'll clarify, hey, I wasn't the hangman, but she has no problem with people being afraid of her and doing the things that she's doing. Also in the way that she eats, like she was at the dinner where she murdered everybody, having the mashing up the meatballs in her mouth to make the little girl laugh and set her at ease. Like this is like, she just digs in and just is like smashing that stuff. Like I like that. It's like she's peeling away these layers of herself.
Yeah, I think she's also recognizing her power, and that I don't have to perform for other people.
Agreed.
I'm the top of the food chain.
Yep. I like it.
In this scene, they also discuss the fact of trying to get Oz, of coming up with a plan and a concept to get it, which I think is a brilliant plan. I mean, make people afraid to sell it. People aren't going to want to sell it, and somebody's going to mess up, trip up, and lead them to Oz. But it's interesting that Oz is I guess it's not interesting. It is. Oz is the pain of both of their suffrage, right? He lost his family because of Oz, and she lost, she got turned in and framed as the hangman. I don't know where my brain is going.
Lost her family.
And lost her family as well. Her brother, too. Yeah. So.
I also love the balance of Sal is the, used to being a crime boss and is, kind of thinking deeper as far as strategy and all that stuff. Sophia is the one who comes up with the brutality, right? That they won't sell anything. We make it so that they don't want to sell. And then the next thing you see are people hanging.
Yeah, with the missing finger, which I think is CGI. I think that's CGI when I looked at it. I was like, that looks a little too perfect. But yeah, I think this episode's good. I just don't think it's the best episode. I also like the dynamic. You get a little bit more of him and his mother in this as well, which is touching leading up the fact that I'm pretty sure she's dead in the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah, I also think that's by design, though, and this is where I kind of mentioned putting your pieces into play. So yeah, the plot and the schemes, but also the character moments. I think they want to show us what little piece of humanity is left in Oz, because I think he's just gonna lose it.
Yeah. Well, it was already spoiled the fact that Sophia is supposed to be in the second Batman, which some people call spoilers, but it could also be a flashback written in to the movie as well. It doesn't necessarily mean she's alive during the time that the second one is setting. I think it's more so that she'll be alive during the second one. Like she will have a hand to play in that. So she definitely makes it. I think she definitely makes it out of this season. I don't think she's gonna be killed by Oz or anything. I don't think Sal makes it out though.
No, I don't. I
I mean,
he's
good.
in the comic. He's the one that throws the acid on Two-Face, isn't he?
Yeah.
So doesn't that still need to happen?
I mean, potentially they've done retcons where they have Irish gang members do it.
Okay.
So there's ways out, but I would say yeah, I would expect Maroney to.
He could definitely be
stick around.
expendable. I cannot imagine with as much of a baller performance that Christine Milioti's done that they would kill her off in this season. That just I just can't picture that. I mean, again,
that's why I think Sal's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna play an aspect in the second movie. I think because towards the end of this episode, them talking about not letting basically the rich mob families take over the crime syndicates. We should have a seat at the table. And if we remove Sal, Sophia would be close to the last head of the table there. So I if she is set up to be in the second one, I don't think Sal's going to make it to the movie. That's just my own opinion, though. All right. So, I also liked that minimal lighting is used in this episode, just to show the lack of electricity. Very well lit during the daytime scenes in this.
Yeah, I think the setting in general on the east side is very good, and you see the overcast skies, and then not everything is running perfectly. The generator runs out of gas, and then also has some other issues. The heat, which comes into play a little later with his mom, with the tub and all that. I think this is all done well. And again, the intermittent electrical problems, even in the underground, which Oz has a unique solution for that seems to work out.
What do we think of the fact that Oz's decision on this after seeing the guys hanging, just to give everything free for the night? I personally rewatched this episode. I don't understand the purpose of it.
You give it to them. They have a taste of it. Then they come demanding for it.
Yeah, you're creating demand, and you're removing the revenue from those gangs. Whatever they're selling is not going to sell in the face of free, and so you're squeezing them.
But why does this happen after Sophia and Sal threatens the fact that anybody found with this stuff is pretty much KO?
It's anybody selling it.
You can't kill everyone. It's too many people.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might find someone with it and chop off fingers and leave them hanging, but they're going to go through so many people without getting any information that eventually they're going to realize it's a lost cause. It's a numbers game.
That's why you see Oz gaining loyalty from all the other families,
Gangs.
Gangs. So
he can put them out of business.
So basically, sacrifice a few is okay, but in the long run, it's just going to make people come to their side. The fact that they have the bliss and are looking for the hits of it.
Well, I mean, think about what Maroney said when he was having dinner with Sophia. Whoever's selling it, they're going to buy it. So what Oz is doing is twofold. You've got I'm sticking it to Sophia and Maroney because I'm giving them too many people that they can't get information. But at the same time, he's creating a need and a demand from drug users in people's turf that's not his turf, because he gets that phone call from the Irish mob guy that's like, what are you doing selling this on my turf? And he's like, no, just we'll talk. So he's almost, forcing their hand as well, because at the end of the day, the people that are coming to them buying drops, which they've already said is drying up, are now going to be coming and being like, hey, we want Bliss. Where's Bliss? And those mob heads are going to say, we don't have that. So he's working two angles here. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, I mean, he's primarily going after the heads of all the distributors, because that's as soon as he sees these guys hanging, he's like, okay, so they're gonna. Sophia's basically saying anybody that sells our stuff is we're gonna get them, and so all of those people are gonna now we'll go back to selling drops or whatever. So he basically goes, I'll just wreck the drug business, and nobody will be selling anything because I'm giving things away. And for all of those little, distribution mobs, they don't have anything else, right? That's their number one revenue. And so he's like, look, you choose Sophia, you go out of business. You talk to me, maybe there's a shot that there's a business to actually be engaged in.
Good
Okay.
point.
That makes sense. Because I was just wondering why you've got the threat of potentially losing your guys to go from that to basically giving everything away that night to everybody to give them a taste.
Well,
Like-
yeah, I mean that's drug dealing 101 though. Is like
Yep.
the first hit's always free.
I'm not a drug dealer. I wouldn't know. not a job I've pursued in the past.
Well, me
You
neither.
know-
But, I mean, it's you get people, you give them the first taste is free, and then later. I mean, they even had a if for those of us like Jay and I and Gooch that are a little older, 80s kids watching, that was like a PSA commercial that they used to have on. It was like, then I start charging them. Hey,
Yeah.
you're a smart kid. You know what I mean? Wasn't that some sort of PSA? It was like,
Yeah, it was the one that turns into a snake.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah, that one.
Give it away. You're gonna give it away for free. Yeah, and then after you give it away, they're gonna come back, and then I start charging them. So it's pretty classic. CIA did the same thing. So
CIA can never trip me up. I wouldn't fall for that shit.
Thanks for
Well,
calling
the
me.
thing
out.
is, it's
You
true
would know
for any
there's CIA.
business, right? Where there's if I've got a competitor, I try to undermine the price to take them out of business, right?
Yeah.
If I want to remove all competitors, I give that shit away.
Breaking Bad. It was in Breaking Bad. Like,
Yep.
Do we not?
Oh,
We all
yeah, it's
remember
been a
that
while
movie.
since I've seen it. I
Or
forgot.
show, rather.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he's going around Las Vegas knocking on doors, telling people to vote for Kamala right now. So
Yeah.
hoping he shows up on mine.
Yeah, about that.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but I knew that Squid was not going to make it out of this episode. I knew the
Very
moment this guy
Yeah.
was reintroduced last
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I
this
knew
guy
it
was
last
gonna go.
episode. He was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad he's
So-
gone.
Oh yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I'll be honest. In the last episode, I thought he was gonna be like a side foil, kind of for Penguin, and mainly towards Penguin's mom, because that was the person he focused in on, was her. But the moment he started asking, like, "Oh, where are you getting the money from?" Da da da. I was like, "Okay, he's dead this episode," and I knew who was gonna take him out, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, I knew it was going to have to be Vic. It had to be. There's no way. I can't see a setup where Oz would do it, especially when Vic in this episode approaches Oz and tells him, well, and Oz is not really paying attention that this guy is bothering him.
Hmm.
Almost like, son going, is like, hey, Dad, this bully's bothering me. Can you take care? He's got to do it from himself. In a way, it's almost like he's becoming a man. Not saying taking a life is becoming a man, just FYI, you two. But
It's
in a
the
way,
Jason
it's a
Todd.
storyline.
It's the Jason Todd effect. It's the same thing that
I
Bruce
don't
did
read
with
Jason
d-
Todd.
Well, that's the same thing that Batman did with Robin, the second Robin.
Okay.
It's like the similarities are like there. So that's why I think that you're going to see Sophia kind of do the Jokerish act of, killing Victor.
yeah, you can't have someone in a Batman project with a crowbar and not think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But no, you're right, Gooch. The mirror there is definitely like spot on in terms of mentor mentee and kind of, crime fighter versus crime boss. It works.
Which Robin's the one that's the black with the blue? Isn't it?
That's Dick. That's
Yeah,
Dick.
So Dick, he's the first Robin. He becomes Nightwing. Jason's the second.
That's who's behind you, right, Josh?
Josh,
Yeah.
you want to show your black dick?
Yeah, let me show my big black dick right
Your
here.
dick. Yeah, show your big black dick, please.
Oh
There.
yeah,
I really should.
Oh,
I
that
feel
really
like-
is sizable, Josh. You weren't
Yeah.
lying.
That's a pretty thick dick, actually.
It is.
now I look at
That is a
Yeah.
very big black dick.
Yeah,
Pretty
wow, that's
ripped, yeah.
impressive.
Where do you
Yeah.
order that from?
As much as I don't like Batman, I feel that I really need to dive into the comics. I think I would really like the side characters and the Robins and all the stuff
Just
around it.
watch the animated stuff. It's pretty good quality.
yeah.
I grew up
Yeah, it
on
holds
watching
up.
the stuff. Yeah.
The books are great, though. The books are just.
I know.
so-
I
they're
still have the
something
3
special.
books to read through them. I got to get to them. I've got a lot of stuff to get to. I didn't realize this. So to me, Oz's places looks different in the daylight. I didn't realize this was his actual like apartment.
I'm with you. It wasn't until
Yeah.
I saw the door, I was like, "Oh shit, this is his apartment."
Yeah.
Right? I thought it was like some office or some hideaway out or something that might lead him. I did not think this was his thing. So it's interesting seeing it lit in day. I love how she handled him the golf club to basically go to town and take his anger out on it.
I was waiting for her to hand that and go. Have you seen The Last of Us 2?
Yikes.
Oh, can't wait. That's the next show, Nick, by the way.
Yeah, that's gonna be a touchy show to talk about. I'll tell you what.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know how well YouTube's gonna be able to censor shit out, but whatever. Whatever.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. This is also where she finds Eve's stuff in the drawer, which I thought Eve is just so I didn't think that they had like a relationship, but I thought it was more like a business transaction between the two of them. Nadia.
Nadia.
No.
Oh,
No?
Nadia.
Okay,
Jeez.
okay.
Business.
Did you not pay attention to the
You're
prior?
my loyal.
I did. I mean, but she's in a sense like a call girl, so she's gonna say whatever he wants to hear.
I mean,
You're a
aren't they-
delicate little
Yes.
flower.
Sweet summer child. Aren't they all business transactions at the end of the day?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yes.
it's a business transaction, but she has a drawer at his place. That's a big deal. Like that's like leaving hairpins at some dude's place.
He
Like,
tells her what she wants to hear. She tells him what he wants to hear.
It's a
like,
transaction.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's just a shorter term contract.
Yeah,
But-
like marriage. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But to
just
have
different,
stuff at his place, though, that seems a
But
little
they-
weird. Circle.
Game recognizes game, and that's where the relationship forms.
Yeah.
They know.
Damn.
they-
Oops, sorry.
yeah.
She mentions that too, though, because she mentions that they both work for each other on different levels. Because I think I think the sentimental thing Penguin gets from it is she knows who he is and what he does, and she doesn't shy away from him. Like most women are gonna be like, "No, fuck this guy." Oh, do we cuss on here, Nadia?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
This is
cool.
inside all day.
I was like, I'm too used to dropping
do
F bombs,
now.
and I'm not on my channel anymore. Like I think most people are like, fuck this guy, like he's crazy, I'm gonna die. And then she's like, yeah, I'll keep steady with you. What's up? So I think emotionally he responds to that because that's ultimately what he wants out of a woman. But at the same time, neither one of them are taking it too seriously. It looks like
It
she's
just-
spitting in this frame, by the way. But
Yeah. Well, he does take it seriously to a certain degree because do you remember the
We have a
tantrum he
spinner.
throws from the prior episode when she essentially like cuts it off. She's like, "No, I'm not going with you," and all that. And Oz gets mad because she makes it clear, "No, this is a transactional relationship," and I think he forgot that a little bit, and then got a reminder.
Toxic, somebody's calling you out saying you're the most
Yeah,
quiet they've
that's
ever
my
heard you.
former partner. He's taking the piss
Oh.
at me, as the Brits like to say.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you guys broke up.
Yeah.
Ah, that's
Well, we did say the contracts are variable length, and
contracts. Okay, yeah. I mean, hey, it's 2024. He's a good-looking dude. I wouldn't be against it, per
Yeah.
se. But, whatever. But
Wow.
yeah, no,
Okay, it's not that kind of stream,
Okay,
guys.
so you're doing a bros review. Is that what we're doing?
oh, that movie was terrible. But yeah, no, it's I agree with the assess. And again, I like it. We get to see a little bit more savagery from
Sophia in this
here.
awful haircut.
I listen. She could be shaved bald, and I would still be panting like a dog after her.
Yeah,
This
I'm not gonna.
I will say this. This is the same haircut on a different character of a different show Nick and I cover. And that haircut on that face looks horrible. But this one's not too bad. So it just tells me the haircut makes the
Are you talking about from? Are you talking about,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
the horrible 1970s haircut that what is it? What's her name? Christy, the medic has.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that. She was so cute in the first 2 seasons.
Well, because they had to make sure that she was stated that she was a lesbian. That's why.
I would have thought that getting it on with her girlfriend would have covered that, but I mean, what do I know? So
This one
Different
isn't bad
times,
though
okay.
on
No, it doesn't look bad on
Sophia.
her, but it looks bad on the other one.
yeah,
So just-
that reminds me. Can I ask a question of the panel? May I, or is it too soon?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, what did anybody? Now, I've been aware of Christine Milioti for a long time. I've never found her very intriguing. I've certainly not found her unlikable. Green Book and How I Met Your Mother and Wolf of Wall Street's first wife. I don't dislike her, and I really liked her in the Black Mirror episode that she was in. But beyond that, she's never really. It's like she's popped out of nowhere. It reminds me of McConaughey when he did the first season of True Detective. It's like you kind of always were aware of them, and then they just kind of bam, they just shoot out. Is that anybody else, or is it just me?
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think maybe a better comparison would be like Steve Carell, because she's 39 now. It's not like she popped off in her 20s, right? Like where other actors like Mark Wahlberg, all these types of people who were younger and then just like they just escalated very rapidly and very quickly. I think this show has allowed her to show everyone what she's really made of acting wise, because I mean she was even in a couple episodes of Sopranos early on, like, so she's been around the block in a good way here and there, but she's never had anything that's so prominent. And it's like she's like really allowed to have that like light shine on her to see like really how beautiful she actually is, not just in looks but with acting chops. But no, I mean I agree with you. Like I don't really think a lot of us paid much attention to her. It's like we knew that she was there, but we never really talked about her a lot when we were would think about female actresses, or female actors, whatever you want to call the freaking names. But I mean, actresses. Like, but listen, I'm super glad she's here. I really am.
Okay.
She did a film. I was gonna say she did a film called Palm Springs in 2020, and that was the first. Yeah, that was the first time I took notice of like, okay, there's potential here. But then, like, that movie went nowhere since 2020. And
I saw that actually.
Yeah, it's
Groundhog Day redone.
Yeah.
It's another Groundhog Day ripoff. It's okay.
Is there a co-star in that?
Andy Samberg.
Andy
Yeah,
Samberg.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's okay. It's not. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of meh. It wasn't until I saw her in Black Mirror that I was like, okay, she's got something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's
I'd
interesting. I wanna
seen like
see what
little
her-
bits. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'd seen her in little bits, and it was like, okay, she's all right, and it's a thing, whatever. I would have never guessed that she has the kind of ability to perform
Never.
like she does in this.
Never.
Oh,
She has just blown me away in this.
yeah, you're just riveted, watching it, and you can see so much of what's happening, like behind the eyes, the little things. It's not, look at me deliver a certain way or all that, right? It's the body movements that she does, the little things that just you can see her transform, like from one personality, or front to another, and she never has to say a word. You just know, and she is really impressive in this.
I would be interested to see where it takes her to. Is she going to be typecasted in similar roles like this, kind of female fatale kind of deal, or will she be able to expand a little bit more? Like, what would be the next role? What kind of next role would she be able to land?
I think she's going to get a lot of these kind of roles for a while, or at least offered to her if she hasn't already. I think it's going to be hard for her to, because after McConaughey did True Detective, he started getting a lot of similar stuff. He certainly didn't jump back into quirky romantic comedies with meet cutes and stuff. I don't know if he's even done another one since then. I mean, I know he's done some animated stuff or
Magic
whatever,
Mike.
but. Does that count? It's like Soderbergh, though.
It's the first one that come to mind. Sorry.
All right. Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think the big thing that bodes well for her is the variation of acting that she's done. That it's not just here is this character doing this thing, right? I mean, she has shown the ability to within the same character play all different kinds. When she's first going into Arkham, you absolutely believe that she's a younger woman who is, acting childish, right? And is scared like a child. And then, the serial killer vibe that you get coming out is rather demanding.
Yeah.
Like she showed tremendous range.
When her character comes on the screen, I'm sorry, I apologize. When her character comes on the screen, she's like a female Anton Chigurh. I don't know who's going to die in at any moment. I feel like, people are in trouble when she shows up, but juxtaposed against the fact that she doesn't girl boss it. She's not flipping, throwing dudes around. And
She's not a Mary Sue.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm aware her comic counterpart is, 7 feet tall or whatever, and is huge and can actually kind of take on Batman. I get it, but that's not her, and she's not trying to be. But she's definitely dangerous. Like when she walks onto the screen, you're not 100% sure the other people that are on screen with her are going to walk, live past that scene.
Well, they're making her. Oh, sorry, Toxic. Go ahead, finish that.
I certainly was with Eve. Like I was like, man, is this it for Eve right here? Is this the end of it? Like, I don't know. So.
It's almost like they're making her a female version of the Joker in this. Like that's where I was kind of leading to. It's kind of eerie. But this is the role that she's wanted her whole life. When you hear her story, she's a huge Batman fan. She's watched all the movies, read the books. This is something I think she just poured herself into, and was willing to work with Matt Reeves and everything, and make this a really great show. And it's definitely showing in this series.
Agreed.
I mean, she manages to eat in a menacing manner. That's enough. Okay, there we go. If you can pull that off, you're impressive.
None of you can fix her, FYI.
I'm not remotely interested in trying.
The only one that can fix her is
can.
Probably Josh. Josh is probably the only one that could fix her.
Does she need to be fixed though? I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think she's good the way Sophia, I love you for what you are.
Okay,
you're great.
I was going to say
around.
I was going to say, catch me up, because my internet dropped and I fell out and I came back in and we're like, oh, can we fix her? I was like, who would want to be with the mom?
I mean, she's got some real dance moves. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
I thought this was a very touching moment too, between her and Oz, helping her out of the tub and stuff. It just, again, it reminds me of my dad and my grandmother's relationship. Italians, Middle Easterns, cultural, sons take care of their mothers.
The other part, I think this is the part here where she talks about just kill me, don't let me get to that point.
And I related to that too,
which is some foreshadowing that we see going into them, what that Josh was mentioning earlier. So,
do you think he'll have to do the final blow? She will be so far.
Oh no, I think Sophia does it. I think she she gets her wish, and Sophia's the one that does it. But I mean,
just breaks my heart, man. I just
and the thing is that Oz will regret the living hell out of him not being able to do it in a loving way, and instead that if she really takes some damage before she dies.
Yeah, after seeing this, I told Chris too. If my mind was going, take me out to the fields. I don't want to become a vegetable at that point. There's no point in living.
Oh, I can drive myself out. It'll be one way.
Yeah, one way out. But yeah, I thought this was. Oh man, now Gooch, you got me in my head. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll.
Phrasing.
No. Yeah, well, you're always in my head, Gooch. I'm winking right
Phrasing.
now. You just can't see it.
And I hope you mean with your eye.
Yeah, sure. Which one?
Your whispering eye.
Don't worry, Chris is in the other room. He can't hear me. No, I'm kidding.
Nice.
Josh's face. This is the scene I was talking about earlier where Vic is not being ignored. I mean, Oz's got a lot of other freaking things going on. He's got to take care of his mom, just having that conversation with his mom too as well. At this moment, Vic's got to realize he's got to take care of Squid on his own. And I don't think obviously it's not initially that he thinks he's going to kill him. He's trying to buy him off eventually from the start point, but then realizes he does have to kill him. So I've been there, no power, having to use lights like that and generators. That sucks.
Yep. Been there
And
a couple
then,
times.
oh, this guy was. Oh, I was like, I needed to find my
Councilman, right?
nose pliers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that he canceled the debt on.
Yep.
Yeah. The one who I believe he's also the one to help get power back over in.
Yep.
Well, that's
Crown
the
Point
discussion that we're having right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn all the power back on the Crown Point. He's like, there's a lot of red tape.
And then there's a
no
little
red-
red stuff coming out of his nose, and that trumps the red tape.
Yeah. So what do you want? You want a bloody nose? Try
Yeah.
to rip part of it out, or do you just want to try and?
I wonder
do
how
with that red
painful
tape?
that really is.
Damned painful.
Yeah.
You
Would
got a
it
lot
cut-
of nerves in that area.
Yeah, the nose.
Why do girls get it? Why do people get it pierced?
It's
mean,
mandatory to let people know that you're
Yes.
dealing with crazy, and so they have to wear some sort of symbol to alert you to that fact.
Yeah,
I feel like every time I see a girl with one of those piercings, she could be the most gorgeous girl in the world. She looks like a little piglet, and you have that little piercing.
Yeah. It's like they want to
Just
be a
plain-
bull, but they're not.
well, it's like
Yeah.
if they want to tell you who they're voting for right off the rip. So it's like
I don't know, man. I've met some people who voting for Republicans who have them. So
Yeah, I do too. I think,
yeah,
I think it's just a crazy thing, to be honest. Edgy,
I like,
maybe. I don't know.
yeah, where you dye your hair, too, kind of thing. Okay, back to the episode. Back to the episode. That was me. I'm sorry. Bye, Jana. I'm excited to see you. Channel coming up, Jana. I almost let some stuff slip there. See, Jana, you can't trust me. This is the interaction also I was talking about earlier between the two of them. I knew this kid was gonna go. There's no way.
Yeah, this was my wife and I were watching this, and so when Squid, was like, well, I can, either meet with the big man or I can go talk to Sophia, and I paused it and told my wife, there's a third option that he's not considering, and very quickly he was considering it in a direct fashion.
I would have been less sold on the fact that he was going to get killed here had they not made such a blatant point to show Vic putting the gun in his pants at the very beginning of the episode. Like, and now he goes with a gun 24/7. Like they made a point to establish that, and I was like, oh, that's going to come into play.
Set up.
Yep, set up and pay off. Believe it or not, I feel like this was a really bad misstep for the episode, and this is what lowers my score for the episode. Not the fact that he killed him, because he, kudos, good job. It's the way in which they did, like you said, them telegraphing it so hard, and the fact that this guy, I mean, he really just, I mean, he might as well have just offed himself with everything. He's like, oh, let me go talk to the, talk to the Falcones and let them know. It's like, dude, of course. Well, now of course you're gonna die. Like,
yeah.
I think it would have been a better thing for Vic to have to struggle with the fact that if the guy was a little bit more sympathetic, you know what I mean? Like if they'd have had some kind of thing where he was like, I gotta make this paper, I gotta make this money because my kid brother's got leukemia or something like that. Like, really kind of twist the knife, and then Vic has to do it instead of the guy just being a total D-bag. And you're just like, oh, okay, you're wearing a red shirt, you got to go.
Yeah. Or Vic. So the guy, he just asks some questions, but doesn't say, oh, I'm going to tell this or whatever. And Vic shoots him because he realizes what can follow, but then always has to question his head. Was that me overreacting or whatever? And then that confusion then causes him, more problems.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him just asking the questions and then how do you just take in the money? Because it's a loose end at that point.
Right.
Yeah. I also think Squid just didn't think Vic had it in him. Didn't have any balls in him.
I know that's what
he
Squid's
knows him.
doing. Again, this is from us as the audience standpoint.
Wizard of fucking Oz.
I get that Vic isn't really there yet, but I kind of, before he got to the point of like shooting, I would have enjoyed once Squid mentions like, or maybe I can go to the Falcons or someone else. It would have been nice if Vic would have just responded with, and who do you think killed the Falcone family? Even though it was Sophia, who do you think set the, because then it's a threat turning back to him. Like, do you realize who you're threatening now? Like, yeah, it's me, but I'm not just me.
Yeah. I'm not the
hired
kid from
you as a
the
writer,
neighborhood
Doc.
that you knew.
Well,
that's good. I like it.
I pissed too many people off in Hollywood.
I definitely would have liked a little more conflicts in, you know what I mean? Like season 1 of Barry, where the guy's like, no, I got it. His friend tells him, no, I got to go to the cops. I'm going to tell him what I did. And Barry makes that realization like, oh, this guy's got to go, and it's something that haunts him for a long time and becomes a problem. Whereas this is just like, this guy's, he's got D-bag cranked up to 11. So it's just like, you're just like, please just off this dude.
Yeah.
Get rid of this dude.
Yeah, give me the gun, Vic. I'll take care of it. I'm tired of listening to this guy.
I got you, Vic. I'll handle this one for you.
Yeah.
Vic, go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
No, I was gonna say I did like the Wizard of Oz line, and I wish that would have been like a rumble of more people being like, "Where's the drugs coming from? We don't know." It's like the Wizard of Oz. Like it's just some guy behind the curtain, but we don't know
hire
where.
you to write, man. Oh, Jesus. These are all great ideas.
Yeah,
Josh.
I got a screenplay I'm working on. You want to collab with me at some point?
Sure.
Let's swap info and let's do that.
Ooh, being shot through the neck too. I've never been shot through the neck, obviously, because I'm here. But that's got to be painful. You're suffocating on your own blood at that point, right?
Well, you're bleeding out anyway.
Yeah. Like you're almost a sense of drowning.
It depends if the esophagus is hit or not.
Yeah, I think if you were suffocating, you would have heard some more gurgling.
Yeah.
Dang. Anyway, moving on to Sophia and Eve's interaction. Which, did anybody watch the behind the scenes? Does anybody watch the end episodes behind the scenes?
No, I've learned not to watch that.
Try to avoid anything teasing the next episode.
Yeah, I don't have HBO Max. I have my Plex Pass, so I don't get all the behind the scenes stuff.
I think the biggest thing is that often when the showrunners start talking, I realize how dumb they can be at times, and I'm just like, I just want to see the show. Don't ruin it by making me dislike you.
Agreed.
Goodwin, I'm usually the same way, because especially after House of the Dragon season 1, but they're pretty based in this behind the scenes for this. This is one I watched where they were talking about this scene and how they wrote it. It was 5 pages of script, and Sophia walking around was added by her. Like, it was ad-libbed by her to just move what was the dialogue on the script, on the paper, forward. Because if you just read it on paper, it didn't make sense back and forth. But with her moving around the room and looking at Eve's stuff and stuff, it floated better. It was really interesting behind the scenes. I do actually recommend the behind the scenes for this episode.
Well, that's good acting again. I mean, your rule is if you're standing and talking, you should always be doing something.
This is my favorite part of the episode too, the interaction between the two of them. Because I really thought Eve was dead at the end of this interaction.
This is where I got concerned, because like I was thinking like they were gonna be like, oh, we can't have women take out other women. We can't show that. We like the girl power. We got to stick together. I was like, oh no, don't go down this road. Don't ruin it here. This is where I was like getting concerned about the series, because it sort of sounded like, like we're not gonna show woman violence on the series, and I'm like, okay, like this is like everything that's happening is like so. Yes, it's a comic book series, but like it's kind of realistic here and surreal. Like it just like don't screw it up here. And I was really concerned with some of the verbiage here, and the kind of the actions. I'm glad I didn't pay it.
Really, because I was like the opposite.
Same.
I was absolutely convinced that Sophia was going to kill her up until near the end, and the what you're having is essentially two pros at lying in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia's essentially letting her know, oh, trust me, I'm not a mark, and I know all the lies that you tell, and can do it at least as well as you can. And so it's like a little chess game going on between the two of them.
Yep.
And Eve eventually.
Oh,
realizes,
later in the conversation, yes, I'm talking the beginning there. With
oh no, the minute she saw the picture of Eve, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Eve. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah.
I took that as, I mean, I thought that she might kill Eve. I think I might have even said that last week, but I didn't think she was going to kill her the moment she said to Eve that my father killed those women. It wasn't me. That's when I thought, you know what, she might not kill her here because she doesn't. She wants to gain Eve's trust a little bit and use her to get more information from.
There were two lines that for me, they were the lines that told me like Eve is safe. And the first one was, does he like when you dress like, or does he like it when you're dressed like this? And Eve said no, referring to like this penguin like her and just her casual. And the moment she said no, he hates it. There was like, it was like, okay, that's a prying question because she's trying to figure out how serious are you two? Like how deep is this emotional thing go? And then she asked a few kind of probing questions about, so how does this relationship work? But the moment Eve mentioned that those girls meant something to her, and that the hangman.
That's what I knew she was saying.
That was the door that Sophia was able to go. Okay, and when she kind of mentioned that she told like whoever it is that works for her that told Sophia to pretty much come find her, where to come find her, and Eve made the comment like, "I protect my girls, and my girls protect me." It's the thing that Sophia didn't have. That Sophia's like, "I can respect you, and I'll let you live, but you're still a means to an end."
Yeah, yeah. Well, and she says, that's rare. The top person is willing to protect the people that work under them, right? That they're like, look, as long as my people are taken care of, we're good, right? And that's when she realizes, oh, okay, you're an honorable person who tries to take care of their own, unlike Penguin, or unlike what her idea of what Eve would have been, which is that this is purely transactional. I'm just trying to get mine and all that. But the fact that no, she has people that she's letting you know, I'm taking, and they're not family, and they're not people, they're mine, right? That's my crew.
Yep.
Nice.
Well, it's also Eve has the family that Sophia wished she had growing up, in a sense, like looking out for each other instead of using each other as chess pieces on a board. Dad, obviously her dad didn't really care about her to just blame.
See, why I was thinking that is because I think it was like, it wasn't the last episode, it was the episode before, where she was like, men, all I've had is men like lie to me and destroy the world, basically. And then but it's not men that do that, it's the world that does that. Or I don't know, I'm probably screwing up the line, but I was kind of like, oh, here we go, this is going to be this, they're going down this path. And then she kind of hints at it again with the lines here, and I'm like, oh, please don't go down this path. And then I was, and with her not killing Eve, it would have been too predictable. I didn't think she was going to kill Eve when she walked in there. I was like, that's too predictable. They're not going to do that. She's going to probably get the information from her, maybe torture her, but she's not going to kill her. But the conversation went the way I kind of figured it would go out, like in this part here, because like they're protecting the females. It's like it's females first, females this, and I was just kind of like, okay, they're really pushing this narrative, and it's like, okay, please don't do this. Like,
no, I didn't get that feel because you've already had
Sophia
go up against other women who have tried to play and betray.
I'm just saying I'm like like when like because we're so tainted from things in the past, like everything we've seen, they kind of go into this narrative of like, you know, whatever message they want to send, and that was my concern with this. And then I was like, okay, thank God they're not doing this. I was like, that was my worry with this part.
Yeah, I think the writers had. I mean, so like, you know, when I first saw, you know, like the first couple of episodes, I was like, all right, you have my interest, but I don't trust you yet. By this episode, I was like, all right, I'm trusting you to do the right thing. Don't screw that up.
Finish strong.
And they
We've
absolutely
had lots
did
of
not.
those though. Goodwin, we've had lots of.
Oh,
those.
I know, I know.
Yeah. So
House of Dragon. This is a simple HBO comparison to it. I don't think this is a women not killing women.
no, it's.
kind
I'm
of-
not saying it is. I was concerned. Like I was like
concerned. It was yes,
certain
yeah.
Right.
words there was just like, oh,
Yeah.
please don't do this, not
It-
now.
it
And then it
plays
was like,
into
oh, thank God.
I think the more interesting thing about this, so this scene, the you know, we talk about the sparing of Eve. The question is, did Sophia do that because she respects the fact that she protect, or that she thought that was the best way to play Eve? Because Sophia's again demonstrated she's learning. She knows how to pick up lies. She's very much learning how to manipulate and not let sentiment get in the way and things like that. Was this a play?
I don't think
her?
this was a play because I don't actually think she expected the information she got towards the end of this because she was on her way out. I think honestly, this is a little bit of her humanity, her sympathy for the women that her father killed, is kind of all encompassed into Eve. So I think
it's more so her, just her personally. She didn't like Sophia wasn't helped. So Sophia is like, all right, if someone had just even tried to help me, I would have been out or gotten off or whatever. So I think she sees that more so than like, oh, let me, make up for these women that were killed. Again,
I don't think makeup. I think
Eve
it's just
knew.
like a sympathy kind of thing, a empathy about what had happened.
Earlier I said Sophia sees Eve as a means to an end, and I still think that's the case. Like, I think she's spared her now because she sees that there could be potential value in the future with her, but I think she sees her as nothing more than that potential value. Like, I don't think there's much emotion there.
Yeah, I don't think Eve was even willing to give up the information like she did. I think she just realized, like, in order for me to survive and to protect my girls, like her immediate family, that it was the best bet to give the information after this conversation with Sophia, like getting all that information, learning Sophia, hearing everything, and her knowing Penguin the way he is. Like the truth is blurred. Like you don't know what's real, what's not.
Yeah,
what's a lie.
She could have also. I mean, I think number one, it was a good scene. I think the writers did a good job. Obviously, like we're here talking about what we think, was going to happen, what the intentions were between these two characters. But usually, I think in other shows, especially in mob-based shows or crime shows, right, you'll see someone take a drink, and then, I mean, it was a good scene you just had it on, Nadia, where Eve's sitting in her chair with a drink, and it could be just to maybe like knock off some of her nerves. But usually some people like to have a drink before they get taken out, right? Like it's been done, numerous times. So I wondered if, Eve thought that she was about to die, but based on the conversation, it's like, all right, well, if I'm here, I'm ready, but just, I want you to know and understand where I am as a person, and I think also Eve learned some things about Sophia, where obviously she lives at the end of the day, for the time being. So, I mean, I think it was a well-written scene all in all.
Agreed.
I agree.
I'm right there with you. I think Eve thought she was done.
No, absolutely.
Because she didn't fully cry, like let tears fall until Sophia got up and started walking away. And I think that's the only reason she then added, like, okay, you've spared me and I didn't expect this and you don't have to. And I am now loose end for you, that I will give you this. Also,
I actually
I'm sorry
thought it more so that Oz betrayed her. I mean, Oz didn't tell her who really was the hangman. Like he knew what was going on. So I think Eve just feels betrayed by Oz. So this is her way of
Getting
saving
back.
her butt, but in a sense getting him back because she thought they had that tight-knit relationship.
Yeah, when she says that we don't lie to each other, and then Sophia's like, really? Yeah. Well, guess what? But yeah, when I think Eve did. I agree with you guys. I think Eve thought she was done for. You can see her face when Sophia walks in and she's playing it really cool and loosey goosey and just kind of, yeah, I knew you were coming. Come on in, yada yada yada. But then when her face turns away from Sophia, the look on her face was like, oh man.
When she goes to pull the drink, you can see the face,
like,
and it was like, oh well, that's the
this
end of that.
might be the last thing I see.
Yeah.
I think that the moment was when she's walking down the hallway and she gives the information. I thought that was such a pivotal moment. Like she realizes she has one last breath, like has another day. And even Sophia turns around and gives a look like, okay. All right.
I think there's another thing in play there, right? That so the one thing that she's always said, Eve has always said to Penguin, and kind of their understanding, don't endanger me and my girls, right?
Yeah.
Well, that got up and left.
Yeah.
But she's also just met Sophia and saw exactly who this is, and she's like, if I have to protect my girls and pick a side, I'm giving up Penguin because this chick looks like she's an apex predator, and he is just kind of flailing around, and that's why she gives up the information, because now she can be valuable to Sophia.
Zax is completely right. They did rip off the Black Widow movie,
But they did it better.
maybe.
Yeah, I loved it when Sophia smashed her face into the desk so that she couldn't smell the pheromones. And that fucking movie.
That movie. There's so many things wrong with it.
Hey,
Anyway,
that movie was good up until the prison break. Okay.
Josh.
Then it became
well,
total shit.
on that note,
scene was
everybody
terrible.
say goodbye to Josh.
Yeah.
I like your
I said
style.
it became shit after that. No, that was a good
Ooh.
movie up until the prison break. The moment you hit the prison break, it just
He
goes to
said
shit.
it again.
Oh,
he said
stop
it
that.
again.
Stop
he
that,
said
Josh.
it again.
Stop it, Josh. Get some help.
We are on a time clock, as the host said at the beginning. We don't have time
Yes,
for
we are.
these
Okay, we got
shenanigans.
2 more scenes to talk about. Oh, 3 more scenes. So this one, I don't know if anybody has an additional.
Again, this is the Bruce Wayne, Jason Todd moment. This
Yeah.
is what I instantly thought of.
Yeah.
I like how he went to him as a father, and then he just goes, "It gets easier. It
Yeah,
gets
oh,
easier
God.
killing people."
Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll kill more people. It's fine. The only thing I will say that we didn't fully mention earlier is this is the first time that Vic has like really acted out on his own without trying to get Penguin didn't push this. Like Penguin didn't say you have to take him out. And so far, Penguin's kind of like led the witness to a degree every single time Vic's going to do something. So
Just
Vic
like
is-
Jason Todd did in the
Yep,
desert when he went to, he went on his own, right? That's what I mean.
I think this is the second time, because Vic leaves and then chooses to turn around and come back to save Penguin.
Remember, Penguin gave him a huge dressing down in the bathroom before he even left. Like, you're gonna leave? What are you? You've got this, you got this, you got that. Like, he was pretty much saying you're choosing a life of nothing over a life of there was still a push there. Like, he still had his hands around I've got you.
Yeah, but the thing is, he comes back and kills someone with a car.
You haven't done that?
Yeah, but to
Everyone's done
save
that.
Oz,
Not this
I don't
week.
think.
Right. I don't
Save
know if it was
Oz.
that guy could still potentially be alive. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He
You
damn
also
well
couldn't-
didn't look like it bleeding out after they drove
Yeah,
away.
he's not happy if he is. I can tell you
They call him Gimpy now, but
Call him Bob.
yeah.
What did we think of the scene of him basically addressing the rest of the, I guess, undergrounds? Because they're not really the head of the families
They're
that run
just
the
gangs.
top.
They're
They're
just
just gangs,
yeah.
right?
Head of each of
Yeah.
the families.
The Zhao
Yeah.
family's kind of a family. Like you could say they're a family,
Yeah.
but
The Sullivans are gangs and all that. Yeah, they're
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I really thought those beers were going to explode or something because he said in an earlier scene, like, be careful with those. It was just touched on, and I was like, he's poisoning these people, or these things. Once the can opens, one of them's going to explode. That's what I really thought. Was
Liquid Bliss.
Yeah.
It's all Liquid Bliss.
Oh,
now.
I thought that too. Like they they were going to
Injected them somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thought did cross my mind. I'm like,
Well, the scene
It
was
was
so
hard
well
to-
shot. Every time
Yeah.
somebody opened a beer and the music, the intensity, I was like, that guy's didn't go off. And they're looking
this
around.
is-
I'm like, oh,
No, I knew that these were just straight up beers. When he starts talking about us being on the poor side,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all the rich guys, look at them with the lights and all that stuff, right? We're on the poor side, and I was like, he is very specifically.
They don't even know
choosing
your
beer.
name. They don't
Right.
even know your name.
Yeah.
That hit. But the one part here, like again, like people saying, "Oh, this is not like the comics." The Penguin in the comics is very good at convincing people. He's very good at using people, and the way they're portraying him in this is like, to me, is the way I want the Penguin. Like he's he's
It's
there,
grounded.
but he's also in the background. He's like he's the king. He just sits back there and pushes out all his pieces. And Eve is his queen, and he knows he can trust her, but he can't fully give her 100% trust.
not
agreed.
queen anymore. Just gave him up.
I will
But-
say, I think the most
So,
impressive thing about this scene was his pivot while while making his case of why they should work together when it wasn't exactly going his way, and he pivoted to the we're all just poor men. Like that was and it's a very slight just change of direction.
Yeah.
But that was good writing. Like it was.
Yeah,
very good. This is
he's like a politician on the stump, reading the crowd's behavior and what's
Correct.
resonating with them, what's not, and just going off the cuff. And yeah,
I got
I will
a
follow him. I believe him.
because the Penguin is always like 5-6 steps ahead. Do you think he told Eve to give his location as a setup? Like, do you think that's a potential?
No,
no,
No, I don't think so.
not with.
Is
I
it
saw the
his
preview for
mom?
the next episode. No, yeah.
yeah. His disappointment with her not coming was real. That we saw in the prior episode, and then there's no way that he puts his mom at risk.
Right. Well, let's keep in mind the only
No.
person that knows about his mom is Victor. Like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one else knows. The only other person who knew was the neighbor that lived across the street that was kind of helping take care of her.
Yeah,
That's it.
And that's why I think he's gonna kill her.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Who knows? I like
Oh,
this scene,
because
though.
Eve would be the only other one that know at least the location of where they are at.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like,
But she doesn't know like the importance of who else is there. Like for all
Right.
she
Right.
knows, it's just him and maybe Vic. And
yeah.
that's it.
I don't think Eve realizes the level of betrayal that she's just
Just
committed.
happened. Yeah.
She may be finding out.
it's worse than her not finding out from Oz that Sophia's dad was the hangman,
Yeah,
right? And I think that consequence is going to be returned probably in one of these two episodes. Again, it's just shot in the dark there, no pun intended, but I do think it's going to come back and bite her in the ass.
yeah. This is a debt and betrayal that I can't see Oz overlooking.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. And again, that's going to show like his true character, the villain part in him that we all know he has. And sure, he'll probably hate to do it, but also, I mean, it's his mom, right? Like we all know his mom is the one thing that kind of keeps him, well, good as he says it. But we all asked, what does a motherless Oz look like? I mean, I think we're going to see, and maybe if it's the finale or if it's Batman 2 or whatever comes after that. But it's going to be great to kind of see the acting from Colin Farrell come out, and be even more menacing and maybe a bit more frightening with some of the things that he may or may not do or may not set up. Playing a game of chess in Gotham. But I like the fact that he also just came out and said, like, yeah, I stole the product. I killed, Alberto. And I think it was Zhao did this like grin, like I knew it or something along those lines. But it was a way again for him to manipulate everyone, and because I think he says, I'll probably don't have the exact quote down, but he says like I'm the most hated one here, basically. You know, after before you guys, I'm the most hated person here. So it's like, but now you guys can trust me because I have the product you can sell. I can make your name something, and just follow me, follow my lead, and we'll actually be something. Here's my product, which is your product now as a result of joining my alliance. And then we can basically get rid of the Maronis and the Gigantes now, but it's going to come at a cost, of course, too.
Well, I love that turn on the me, right?
Yeah.
It's like everybody hates me, and I know you, but they don't know any of you.
Well,
right.
That's the beautiful part of this episode. You had two individuals use the truth to manipulate. You had Sophia tell the truth and say, gain the trust of Eve, and now you're getting the Penguin doing the same thing with the gangs and the Zhao family. So you got like they're two sides of the same coin using the same tactics. That's the beautiful thing about this episode.
Well, that's the thing that people forget about propaganda is not a lie. It doesn't have to be a lie. In fact, the most effective propaganda is true. It's just selective, or how you spin it to fit the situation, right? But the truth is always the best thing to use. Maybe just be a little selective with it.
So I am Gucci? Oh, okay.
Buy your Gooch merch at www.gucci. Also, by the way, anybody else caught the fact that when they heard something, I knew right off the bat that's Sophia entering the apartment?
Yeah. When Victor kind of starts to turn, but then doesn't look.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, at what point, what would Victor do if he saw her at that point? Like, does he have his gun on her?
You should still have a gun.
I would say you should saw his gun.
Unless he put it down.
Well,
I will say I've
after he did
enjoyed
a murder like he should do, but I don't know.
I've enjoyed every episode, but I have not been like amped up to see the next one. Like, I've enjoyed every single one of them, but I'm like, oh, is it Sunday yet? For this cliffhanger, I was like, man, is it Sunday yet? Like, I want to find out what happens. I want to see the outcome of, like, does she kill his mom? Does she just leave her there just for him to find it? Like, what? Because if you watch the prequel, somebody's getting tortured. We just don't know yet who, by Julian in it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Spoilers.
But,
spoilers.
And the thing is, I really love the portrayal of the mom. And the actress is great in it.
You pussy boy.
Yeah, and and again, Sophia and all these are all great characters that are they are going to have to resolve some shit, and not everybody's going to be left standing. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining me today. Let's go around, give final thoughts and scoring on it. Why is this not doing the way I hate StreamYard? Oh no! There we go. Nick.
Josh is below me, just like how I like it.
Oh, power bottom.
What'd you say, Nadia?
Final thoughts, Nick. Where you think it's going?
Well, I think we're in for a great last two episodes. I agree with you, Nadia. I want it to be Sunday already, which, I mean, it's Halloween, so I don't want to speed up things too quick. But yeah, I can't wait for next Sunday too, and then for us talking about it next Monday. But I think Oz is going to be tortured. I think Eve is going to be as well. I think Eve doesn't make it in the next episode. I think Vic will still be alive, but in what capacity, not entirely sure yet. I think between some of our theories, they all sound really plausible, which is great. And again, I think that's one of the best things about the show is it keeps us watching, it keeps us talking and guessing. And I think it's when you have a good story on your hands and you don't quite know where it might go. But I think we're going to see a change of Oz's composure next episode, and I think he's going to really flip his lid in the finale. But I would probably say this episode is maybe like I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I think
Maybe, yeah.
you and I think we both agree it's like the weakest of all of them, but it's not a bad episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and again, an 8 out of 10 is far better than plenty of other shows out there. So I mean, it's great for us.
All right. Gucci. Staying Gooch.
Yeah, I agree with the 8 out of 10. Still strong episodes, but I always like the ending. Like, why wasn't Victor? Like, Victor is like always beside Oz, and at the end he's not there, and that's why I always I'm leaning towards the Jason Todd story and putting it into the Victor side. So that was kind of convenient for that. There was a lot of similarities from the books put into this episode. Like I mentioned, I was like concerned at certain points because I was like, oh no, are we doing like a Me Too movement here? Like, holy shit, like please don't do that. And then it was like, okay, thank God. Like it was just like, oh, okay, because this is too good. Don't screw it up. I really like the Sophia Eve conversation when the way it went, the way it played out, and then the Oz with all the gang members and heads of the Zhao family and all that. I thought that was excellent. The way they kind of paralleled there with the way they're using their truths to manipulate everyone. The South piece, I don't know where they're going with that because he's kind of in and out, and it's not. I'm just curious, like, what's his role right now? Is he just muscle, or is he just like I'm wondering where he's going to fit in later on, or is he going to get knocked off? Like, but yeah, and then of course I'm curious where the next 2 episodes go. I think there's going to be a major gang war, and the Penguin eventually takes over. And I think we might see an appearance of Batman, even though they say he's not in this. I think you're going to see an appearance of like a very small appearance of him in this. But yeah, I like where this is going. There's so many things that they can do with these characters, and their character development is fantastic. So like, this is what we want when we watch these shows. So yeah, 8 out of 10. So
Okay. Josh. Thank you. First time appearance on Inside All Day. Josh.
So I'm going to go a little bit lower on my score. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a solid, really good episode. Just a little slower and a lot of setup, but I think it'll, serve its purpose in the next 2 episodes. I think Vic is going to be the one that gets tortured because he's the one that Sophia is going to know has information because she knows he's been with. Vic is her Penguin. Like what Penguin served for her is what Vic serves for Penguin. So she knows the relationship they have. I think the mom is a goner. I'm just curious to see how it happened. So I'm curious to see if Sophia just kills her outright, or if we have another callback to episode 1 where she's trying to figure out who this woman is and why she's so close to the inside. And then she, pulls a gun and maybe Penguin is there and asks, like, who is this? Is this your mother? And he says no, trying to protect her. And then she just shoots her. Like, go back to that first episode. But yeah, I don't think really anyone's getting out of this alive except for kind of the heads of the mob. I think Oz is going to get out of this alive. I think Sophia and maybe Maroni. But I think the setup, I think where this leaves off as a series is going to be the backdrop for the Batman sequel. Because the backdrop for the first one was the election and the politics and the drops. And I think the setup in the backdrop now is going to be you've got this huge gang war going on. And that's what he's fighting. And then you'll have his kind of like his rogue, which may or may not be Mr. Freeze. But we'll see.
Ah, Mr. Freeze. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? From Batman and Robin.
Please don't. Please don't.
I fucking love that movie. I fucking love that movie.
Nope. Killed the dinosaurs, the Ice Age.
Take a Kill Bill.
Yes.
Who has the authority to kick Naughty at this point? No. I will say
Lord
that
of-
movie is hilarious if you watch it with friends and you're all high. But
Yeah, of
their
course, or sober. It's a masterpiece in comic book movies. I love
Is
it.
though? Is it?
Poison
No.
Ivy.
No.
Come on, Uma Thurman.
No,
no,
it
Poison
was
Ivy?
off. It was
Hmm.
awful.
It
It was awful.
Fat nipple.
You guys don't know Batman like I know Batman.
I will just say, if you can imagine Matt Reeves doing a version of Heart of Ice from the animated series, but in this show or in this structure, it could be freaking kick ass. So,
Yes.
I assume that's a Batman reference.
it is.
Yeah, Batman animated series. One of the best. One of the best episodes.
Lord of
It's from the Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay. What are your final thoughts on rating?
I love Superman in that gooch.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so it's a solid episode, but I mean, if we're saying that 10 is perfection and 1 is crap, then I can't go any higher than a 7 with it. It's got its flaws, and I pointed them out when we spoke about it. I mean, it's a plot heavy, progressive. We're in the latter half of the season, so it's the back end one that has to kind of propel us towards the climax. So it's and those are always going to be challenging to keep relevant. But again, as usual, Melody, I can't take my eyes off of her, and forget about it. Colin Farrell always delivers. I like they're showing the progression of the mom. Again, I don't remember who mentioned it, but these could easily be one-note characters, and they don't make the mom a one-note character.
Yeah,
I appreciated that. I liked everything with Eve. I'm disappointed. I hope I'm wrong. And it's just an IMDb thing, and she'll pop up in something else. So, because I have really enjoyed her in this, and I like what she brings to the show. As far as my predictions, I gotta agree. I don't see anybody except for the upper main people living through this. I'm not even 100% sure. It could go either way, but I've heard rumblings that Colin Farrell is not happy about putting on these prosthesis and whatnot. So, I don't know, but I mean, I can't imagine them killing off the Penguin. So, I'm just really not sure. I don't see Clancy Brown making it. I don't see Vic making it. I definitely don't see the mom making it. And I think Eve is probably going to get tortured if she shows back up, and if she doesn't, I think it's the mom that's getting tortured. So.
Oh, Nadia.
What?
Colin
did I
might
do
care more
now?
if he gets an award for this.
Does it have owls? Does
Just
it
a
have
general
owls?
question. Does it have owls? Anyway, Goodwin,
It was a courtroom.
yes.
sir. Final thoughts. Where you think it's going rating?
Oh, I mean, I think there's so there while this is a slow episode, and you have a lot of kind of character development along with plot setup, if you had lesser actors doing this would definitely be kind of a plodding, not especially interesting episode. But because of the performances that you're getting from these people, it really elevates it quite a bit. I think this is, a good solid 8. It's probably the second lowest episode for me, but that's that's no insult for this series. I think the interesting thing for me, I was kind of, while I was watching, it kind of struck me that Sophia and Oz are kind of playing out the two different sides of Machiavelli's concept of, is it better to be feared or loved? And Oz in his head wants to be loved, right? And thinks he's doing those things to be loved. I very much think that by the end of this, that will have gotten up and left. And I think that the most obvious way for that to happen is that something happens to his mother, and that, just removes his anchor from any kind of humanity that, or facade of humanity that he has left, and learns from Sophia that, the way to be successful is to be ruthless and scare the hell out of everybody else. I do love the idea of playing the East Side lower class criminals, the ground level people, up against the heads of the family that all live in the portion of town that has lights and are so disconnected, and how that plays out, especially if it goes into a movie where you have a gang war that is less between families and more between, like, the lower underclass of Gotham and then the upper class, dealing with that.
Goodwin, that is the smartest answer I've ever heard on this. Like, no joke. That was very deep. Very deep. I'm not kidding.
I like to climb up my own ass on a regular basis. So.
Can confirm. Can confirm.
Yeah. So Nadia, what Goodwin was saying would also pretty much confirm potentially Court of Owls.
Yes.
I have it on Kindle. I just haven't. I have that. I have Long Halloween. I have what else? Do I have? I've got Bro, I have a stack of comics that are probably a mile high that I have to catch up on. I have not had time. November is coming. You have to understand, I've been pretty much on 20 streams this month because of October. So, like, it is. I will have some downtime to finally catch up on reading. And then I'll be texting everybody. Oh, they really do have owls in the Court of Owls. I give this, I'm about a 7.52 as well. Strong episode. I don't want to say this is a filler because there are key moments in this episode that move the story forward, but I think we've just ignited the bomb that's going to go off next episode. And it's just going to continue to go from there. So, I liked it. It's the only episode of the entire series, even though I think it's the weakest one, to leave me wanting the cliffhanger, like wanting the Sunday to be here already. So I'll be interested to see how the next 2 episodes play out. Nick, what do you have going on next?
We've got a fantastic Venom 3 review coming out. I'm either going to throw it up later tonight or tomorrow morning, one of the two, but stay tuned for that. And just getting hyped for Friday. I have to watch the new From episode as well. And I'm going to do a review on the season 2 premiere trailer for Silo, which is coming out in November 15th, I think. It's a good show. It's on Apple TV Plus, if anyone's wondering. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now, for this week.
All right. Gooch, why are you quitting? Where people can find you next?
I'm not quitting. Well, tomorrow night we're going to be doing Primal episodes 3 and 4. Looking forward to that. Wednesday is the big night. We're diving deep into Star Wars. I don't know how we did this, but we're diving into Star Wars, baby. So yeah, it's going to be Badger, myself, Leon, and Miet. We're going to be starting off with the Phantom Menace, and we're going to be looking at where did everything go wrong for Star Wars. I mean, we kind of know, but we're going to really take a deep dive into this and review all the Star Wars material. So it's looking forward to that. And then on Thursday, the final episodes of Uzumaki, thank God, and we'll be reviewing episodes 3 and 4 for that. So yeah, and then of course late night with Gooch on Sundays. So
you're not quitting, Gooch. I don't know why people think you're quitting.
That's Hypno always.
I know.
Yeah.
Josh, what's going on over at Pop by Culture?
So tomorrow night we're gonna have a horror show SmackDown. Which Nadia, if you're not doing anything, you're welcome to join. Actually, any of you guys, if you're not doing anything, you're welcome to join. It's gonna be 8 p.m. Central Time. So
when is this?
Tomorrow night. But we're gonna have some. We're gonna pull all the different horror franchises and decide what's the best franchise. So not what's the best film, but what's the best franchise. So it's gonna be laid out in like a bracket, and we're gonna go through them all. So
I might be available.
Yeah, nice.
9 Eastern.
Correct.
I might have to catch the tail end because I'm going to be over on Pop Culture Minefield talking Army of Darkness. So
Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Another fine movie.
Anything else, Josh? Anything else?
That's about it right now. Wrapping up the cherry popped with Max for Buffy season 1, and that should drop on Halloween. So
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something similar, but for myself, X-Files, because I've never seen X-Files. So I'm going to be going through those episodes. Lord of Toxicity, what is going on, my guy?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. I've been doing my Consider the Source show is where I talk about how the movies or the adaptation are usually better than the source material, and I've done 3 Stephen Kings so far. I got 2 more to do, and I'm gonna throw in Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. Of course, weekly we look at Dudicus and I watch Highlander, the television series, and we just did one of those episodes today. And at Northern English Bastards channel on Wednesday, we will be discussing this very episode. So I hope I haven't stepped on too many of my points, but hopefully I can steal some of you guys' great insight and pass it off as my own on that. Oh, and I'll be on the Outcast Creative this weekend to continue our S.H.I.E.L.D. retrospective.
Never seen that show either.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. I don't see a lot of things.
okay.
I get it. I get
It's
it.
okay.
Goodwin.
Yeah.
My mortal enemy. What is going on, Goodwin?
Well, first of all, I'm immortal.
Sorry.
I'll be
Immortal enemy.
Tuesday. I'll be on Gooches where we discuss Primal. Then I'll be on Thursday where yes, we will take the last of Uzumaki and throw it in the trash. And then Friday, every Friday, I'm on B-roll stage doing B-sides where Adam Gray finds terrible movies and makes us watch them. And I don't know what we've done to deserve this punishment, but I guess we got to go through it. And otherwise, I don't know. I'll be here and there.
Very cool. As for myself, tomorrow I'll be over on my horror channel doing Horror Tuesday live at 7 o'clock Eastern time, dressed up as Elvira, as it has been deemed by the polls, leading right into Pop Culture Minefield Army of Darkness. Wednesday I'll be on Zach's, and I believe I got to firm up Friday. I believe I'm on somebody's show Friday, but I have to firm it up. So,
Aren't you doing From on Friday?
I'm on From, but I'm also on someone else's show Friday night, so as well. So I just got to firm that up. But yes, Nick and Lord of Toxicity. I hate Lord of Toxic joins me for From every Friday. So moving forward, hopefully you guys will be there. Sorry, I'm so disoriented today, guys.
It's Gucci's.
It really is. It really is.
You made it under time. You made it under your deadline, so you did good.
I did. I'm pushing, man, today.
No,
I've
you
been
did
up
good.
since 3. Everybody, please make sure you follow everybody. Everybody's links will be in the description below. Please go follow all their channels. They're awesome content creators. I learned so much from all of them, so please do that. And until next time, meet us back here next Monday to discuss episode 7. Have a good one, guys. Bye.